Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another wonderful episode of #Actors Life, the show all for and about the hustle and bustle lives of actors. On tonight's show, we have acting coach extraordinaire Jay Goldenberg here to give us some great acting tips and some great advice on acting careers. Later, we'll have another roundtable discussion segment from another group of great working actors who will discuss acting day jobs, how to keep the lights on while chasing your dreams. And then later, we have another fabulous performance from a greatly talented Limelight artist. And it's all going down right here, right now on #Actors Life. Don't go nowhere. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another installment of #Actors Life. I am your host, Shamiria, and before we get to tonight's guest of honor, I would like to discuss don't book the job, book the room. When you go into an audition, you never want to go in with the mindset of, I have to book this job. Please let me book this job. Rather, go into the audition with the mindset of, hey, I am going to give this the best performance of my life. So that when you go into the room, you are confident and your talent and your personality shines and illuminates the room. So that when you do leave the audition, whether you book the role or not, you can be confident that you gave a truly great performance and you left them with a lasting impression and that they got an opportunity to really see your talent and your potential. So much so that you want the producers, you want the directors, and the casting directors to say, he or she wasn't right for that role, but I would definitely like to see them in for this role. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is not booking the job, but it's booking the room. Tonight's guest of honor is an acting coach extraordinaire and an instructor at the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jay Goldenberg. Tonight's guest of honor is Jay Goldenberg here. He is acting coach extraordinaire and professor at the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. A wonderful, wonderful school, wonderful program.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Well, first of all, I know you work with a lot of actors at different levels.
Right.
Some at intermediate levels. You work with a lot of beginning actors.
Yes.
For beginning actors, I know I work with you personally as a
Absolutely.
beginning actor.
Everyone begins somewhere.
Exactly.
Right.
So what are some of the beginning mistakes that beginning actors make?
I think people have to be patient and have to give themselves the time to learn.
Right.
It's a craft.
Right.
And it's part of an art. So if you want to be a ballet dancer, you go for years to school. Yeah. And so to be able to learn your craft and be able to depend upon it when you're on a set, right? And there are 80 people running around.
Right.
And you have a job to do too, and you may have to do lots of takes. And you're going to have to use your craft to be able to do that.
Right.
And I think people look, for the end.
Right.
And don't take their time to explore and learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know for me in the beginning, starting out, I thought that school and classes and everything was, after that, I'm just supposed to know everything. All right, I have everything.
Right.
Let's go. Not so much.
Like that. It's not like that.
It's more so, it was more of a foundation. Like, it's like, okay, now I have a foundation I can build upon.
Absolutely.
I can build my career upon that.
And here's what's wonderful about acting. As you grow and your life continues and you mature, if it's something that you're really passionate about,
right,
you will have more and more to offer.
How do you, or what advice do you have, like when you get out there and like you have just a little piece of a script, like because when they send you sides,
right,
like you can't do like a full analysis.
Right.
It's just like
Absolutely.
You have to do something like just
Right.
really quick. It's like, okay, well, you know,
Right.
I get a quick feel, you know.
Right. So read the scene. Let's say you're given a 3-page scene. Read it 3, 4, 5 times, and then find what elements in the scene are the most important ones. Meaning, like, let's say you and I are sitting in Central Park. The scene's in that, and it's freezing outside. Well, clearly the weather and the environment is huge.
Right.
Right? Always also look at the relationship of what's going on between you and me, meaning let's say someone is your best friend in the scene, or your wife or partner or whatever. It's important to take ownership of that.
Right.
To really look inside yourself and go, what is that like? Who is that person to me? Because that's a huge part of the game, is the relationship that's happening right now in the scene.
Right.
And be willing to, and listen, and be willing to work off the reader or the other actor that's there. But find a few elements that are very important to telling the story in the scene. You can't do everything.
Right.
You can't do everything that quickly.
You know, I think it's important to make career goals. And, you know, things change so much all the time.
Yes.
Like, what do you think is an unrealistic career goal?
I think an unrealistic career goal is, let's say you're 22, 21 years old, you've just gotten out of school, and that I'm going to have a series in the next 10 months.
Yeah.
That's totally unrealistic. You know what? Miracles happen.
Right.
You know, and you might. But if that's what your goal is, right, then you're missing all the steps.
Right.
Do you see? You're looking to a place that most likely is not going to happen. So deal with what is and what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
And what are all the steps to that? You see?
Yeah.
And so it would be like, when I was a young man and I was like, I am going to be a very important acting coach in the next 3 months. Well, no.
Right.
Nobody knows who I am. I haven't proven myself at all.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. So something like, have goals that are realistic.
Right.
Right? And that you set out for yourself. And move towards those, and then make other ones. And keep moving forward like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Something that's right here in your world instead of way over there. And like I said, you know, miracles do happen.
Right.
I can't say it'll never happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
But it certainly shouldn't be a goal.
You know, something I find that is so sad, you know, I've met a lot of different actors, and, you know, some of them, like, just quit the profession because they end up broken. Like, they allow it to defeat them.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that is because they take the rejection of the business personally.
Yes.
And in the beginning, I
We
took it
all-
kind of personally
me
too. I
too.
was like, well, what is it? And where am I
Yeah.
not doing right? And I should have said the line this way. I know I should have done it this
Yeah.
way. I should have played it this way. I should have done that. I should have done this. And then once I realized, like, it has nothing to do with me.
That's right. That's
I
right.
was like, well, wow, okay, well, why am I beating myself up?
Yes, yes. I
know?
have to tell this story. It's a great story, and I talk about it sometimes in class. So there was this series being shot, and they did like 2 episodes. It wasn't aired yet. And the 2 leads, a guy and a gal, something was wrong. So they called me. I was still living in LA, and they said, would you look at this and come on in and talk to us? And, you know, and I said, these 2 people have no chemistry. And what I mean by chemistry is they don't know how to play with and off each other.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those, you know, like romantic kind of comedies where they fight, and then of course they fall in love.
Right.
And there was this kind of thing wasn't there. And I said, it's not there. This isn't the right coupling. And what I found out, this is amazing. So this is why you should never take it personally.
Right.
So I found out the guy who I thought was the weaker of the 2. The producers wanted one guy, the network wanted another guy, So they settled on this guy.
Oh, wow.
Which no one really wanted. Now think of all the wonderful actors that went in for that part.
Yes.
And this is what happened. So what are you going to do about that? I happened, because I was working the other side of it, to find this out.
Wow.
But there's nothing we can do about things like that. I mean, I remember, I had a pilot, and it was like the #1 pilot in Los Angeles, and there was a fight between the producers and the network said no. And all the actors that were in it, were just like, this is it, we've made it, it's happening. And it was like, and then we were like at a bar going, what happened? That was it.
Right.
Well, you could fold up your tent and go home then. Or have a couple of drinks and go,
just be like, hey,
I'll see you at auditions.
Right, exactly. This has definitely been a very insightful and very helpful interview.
Good.
Thank you so much.
I'm so pleased you asked me to do it. I really am.
One last thing.
Sure.
What words of encouragement do you have for actors out there who are a bit discouraged?
You have to re-energize yourself. You have to stop and think, what can I do that doesn't depend on someone else saying yes to me? Can I do this? Can I take a class? Can I, do a short movie with some friends? Do you say? Yeah. Give yourself something that we have to continue to nurture that artistic part of ourselves. Right. Listen, otherwise what happens is that part of ourselves we turn against ourselves. Do you see?
Yeah.
And so you have to, but when you start to feel that happen, you have to find a way to reach out there, right? And that's why we need to make friends and other people that are in this so we can say, hey, let's do this. I actually had a support group in LA, and we'd meet once a week for breakfast. We'd all bring something, and we'd give ourselves, you have to do this by next week. And we had to report to each other.
Wow.
To keep ourselves, you know what I mean? Because it was like, oh my God, I'm going to go back and I haven't done anything.
Right.
And we would get down on each other,
Yeah.
And, a couple of people came out of that have done, I have too, incredibly well.
Wow.
But it was great. We just made this commitment to meet once a week. And, it was at my apartment, it was at their apartment. We'd move it around and we'd bring bagels and coffee and juice and whatever it was. And you had to write down what you had to do for the next week and let everybody know what is working, what you succeeded with, what you're going to do next. Wow. And, we'd help each other. We'd say, what about this? What about thinking about this? So we have to find for ourselves anything we need to move forward so that we don't do this kind of a thing.
Wonderful.
So
Thank
important.
you so much.
Thank you.
For actors out there who are looking for extra, coaching, how can they find you?
How can they find me? I have a website, which took me years, but I was convinced I had to. So it's jaygoldenbergacting.com.
All right. Thank you so much.
That was so nice. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Thank you, guys, and stay tuned for our roundtable discussion.
I have no doubt you will book.
Okay. So does that mean that you want to sign me?
I have other conflicts.
The home side has something going now, and the crowd is loving it. It's the bottom of the 8th inning, and so far it's been a very
Hello,
tight game.
Jeremy Burns, please.
This is Jeremy Burns.
Jeremy, Pamela McCreary here.
How are you?
Now the big guy.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Listen, we met a few weeks ago at the speed dating seminar,
I had conflicts at the time.
but I am now conflict-free, and if you're still in the market for an agent, I would love to work with you.
Really? Sure.
Great.
Send me an updated copy of your headshot and resume, and I'll start submitting you.
If anything bites, I'll give you a call.
And the batter had a good eye on that one.
Hi, this is Pamela McCreary Sanders. I can't get to my phone right now. Please leave a brief message and I'll get back to you shortly.
Hi, Pamela. This is Jeremy Burns. I'm giving you a call to check in. I sent my headshot and resume, and it's been a while since we spoke, but I could send it again if you didn't get it. Anyway, give me a call back.
A brief message, and I'll get back to you shortly.
Hi, Pamela. This is Jeremy Burns. I'm just calling to check in. Okay, well, I guess you're probably busy, so give me a call back, hopefully. Hey, Pamela. Pam. Pammy. Yo, P. Pammy. Pam Sturt. Hello? Hello? Yeah, it's working. Hello? Hello, Pam?
Hello, may I speak with Jeremy Burns?
Yes, this is Jeremy.
I'm calling with Fannie Mae Financial in regards to a debt you owe.
Wrong number.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Roundtable discussion segment. Tonight's topic of discussion is actor day jobs, how to pay the bills while pursuing your passion. Tonight, my guests are Cara and Sidiki Fofana, two very hardworking actors. I have spoken to quite a few different actors, and I know a day job is just that. It's a day job. It's something that's temporary until you actually book that job that's really going to take you out of that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I know it can be sad. It can be kind of daunting. And how do you guys keep yourselves motivated?
I guess for me, luckily I'm teaching drama, so I'm within the field, and I'm working with the kids. And like we were talking earlier, this is an industry where you're constantly learning.
Right.
No matter what level you are. So, just dealing with kids and seeing how they react to certain things, I learned from that. Or when they're doing a play, I learned from that. Or just seeing, I constantly observe and try to build my awareness and bring that to the arts.
Right.
So that's how I keep myself motivated.
Right.
Yeah.
Important, as we were saying before, it's so important to just continue to keep on learning and growing as an artist. Continue to take classes and learn from other people, as well as watch who's in the industry right now.
Right.
It's so important because that's your competition.
Right.
So you want to know what they're doing, and you want to also make it your own. So it's really important to just keep on growing and learning and going with the flow.
Exactly. And I like the fact that you guys bring up to continuously learn and to keep learning, and because working different jobs, it only adds value to your acting toolbox, so to speak.
Yeah, it does.
So when you get different roles, it's okay, it gives you a different way or different perspective on how to portray a character. How do you guys stay motivated when it can be very, very, very tiring? You know what I mean? You work long hours, or even working with children is draining. I know.
Yeah, it is.
I've worked with kids before too. I know it's draining. But and you still have to go to your auditions, and you're looking for auditions, and you book your jobs. Okay, now I have to learn my lines, and okay, now I have to go to set, and how do you stay motivated throughout all that?
For me, a lot of the motivation comes from artists like you guys. When I see you guys working constantly, pushing, knowing that this is an industry where you can be lonely at times. I see you guys working. I'm like, oh, she booked the national commercial. Okay. You go on, girl. I'm gonna get there too. We gonna work together. And just creating a support group, like an actor circle, where you have actors who, whether they're a different level or just starting up, just to be there as a support group and just know that I have your back, you have my back, and we're going to fight till we reach this goal. And that is possible. And it will happen in due time. It's just, like I said the other day, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
That's such a great attitude to have. I feel like it's so important to be positive no matter what, because living in New York City, there's so many hardships that we face as actors.
Yes.
Right.
And it's really important to just continue to stay positive and build other people up as well.
Yes.
Always
Right.
speak life. Always
Exactly,
speak life.
yes.
Always.
That's perfect.
Speak life.
That's
Speak
perfect.
life. Like, now I know with the day jobs, have you guys ever been in a position where you've had to either quit a job because you know, you had to make a decision between, okay, this job or my acting career, or have you ever been, like, you know, removed from a job because of your acting career?
I have before.
Yeah.
And it's hard because, I mean, you have your dreams right in front of you and you don't want to disrespect the company that you're working for, but then you realize it's like, if they're not going to support you, if you know, I booked a project that I was filming for 2 weeks straight and I couldn't work, and I let them know the truth, and they were like, well, if you're going to do this, then I'm sorry, we can't have you here. So I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to quit. You know, I can't, you know, my dreams are right here, and you just want to be able to pursue it, and if they can't support you in that way, then it's not worth it. It's just a temporary job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, I was okay with that, and then afterward I was like, oh
Okay.
my God, you know, I was so excited, and it kind of put me on a whole nother level.
Like, I know as we get older, you know, our needs, our desires change, but the passion is still there.
Yeah.
You know, of course. Like, how do you guys feel like when you see your friends, you know, they're going on to get married? You get married now, go.
Yes.
Congratulations, girl. That's all right. But like when they have like their kids, and like they have the jobs that have, you know, paying them very substantial incomes, and they're taking the vacations, and, you know, they have like the big nice houses, like, you know, does it make you feel like, you know, maybe I should, you know, maybe take a break, or like I wish I had that right now, or?
I feel like, as you know, like when I was younger, I just automatically knew that I wanted to be an actor. So for me, I mean, looking at that, I'm so happy for them, but I know that God has instilled these talents in me for a reason.
Right.
You know, and no matter what, He's gonna make a way for it. So every time, like throughout my whole entire career, that I felt like, you know what, is this really for me? God always shows me that it's for me.
Right.
So, you know, I'm gonna get that eventually in time, and you just gotta continue to keep staying positive, believing, and have faith that everything is gonna work out, and it will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like they say, you know, things will come to you at the right time. You know, and I'm not gonna lie, it does get to me. I mean, we're human, you know, when you see people with great jobs or family and all of that, but I look at acting as, this is something I'm gonna do for a lifetime, you know? So it's not like sports where there's a deadline, you know, you hit 40, teams are not gonna pick you up anymore, so you gotta leave.
Right.
No, you can do this when you're in your 90s,
Right.
100. Sidiki Tyson is like breaking all records. So I'm like, the car will come and this will come. And I have friends tell me like, yo, you made the right choice, because the rest of my life I'm paying these debts. You know, you're just living, you know, and I think that's what motivates me to keep going.
But I think, and something, I do this just like to kind of, I was doing this in the beginning to kind of get my parents, like, you know, on board.
Yeah.
I will always compare, like, differences in the acting world to corporate America, like to the corporate structure, or like, you know, learning about like how doctors, they come about in the medical field. Like, okay, first they get their bachelor's, and then they have to go off to medical school, and that takes more time. And then like they have to do their clinicals and stuff like that, and that takes more time.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then they have to like start trying to develop their own practice, because then they have to get like patients and stuff like that, and that takes time.
It does.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like even for us, it's the same thing, but people just don't think about it in that realm. Like, you know, of course, okay, say even if you don't go to college, I mean, training is necessary. I mean, it's suggested, and it helps so much, you know, fine tune your skills. But, you know, and to get better, it takes time.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's the thing I always try and remember. It is a business just like anything else. I mean, it may operate a little bit differently, but it's a business. I have a career, just as much a career in this as I would if I was an attorney, or if I would, you know, pursue being a doctor. The hustle would still be the same.
Yeah.
I still got to get clients. I still have to study. I still have to live my life. I still have to pay my bills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. doctors have like crazy student loans afterwards.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, like you think about us and our expenses. You got your headshots.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get them printed. You know, it's other expenses, like, you know, if you change your look or whatever, like
Websites.
all of that website, like all of that costs too. So I mean, it's the same thing. It's just, you know, done differently.
Yeah.
One last thing though, what words of encouragement do you have for up and coming actors out there?
I'll give a quote. If you create wealth in your art, the money will follow.
Nice.
If you continue to stay true to yourself, work hard, success is yours.
All right now. Well, thank you guys so much. You were awesome, both of you.
Thank you.
So are you.
Yeah.
I tried, you know. Well, that's a wrap for our roundtable this evening. Stay tuned for our Limelight segment.
Now, I married a woman, a good woman. To this day, I can't say she wasn't a good woman. I married that woman with all the good graces and intentions of being hooked up and bound to her for the rest of my life. I was looking for her to put me in my grave. But you see, it ain't always what your intentions and wishes are. She went out and joined the church, all right? There ain't nothing wrong with that. A good Christian woman want to go to church and do right by her God? There ain't nothing wrong with that. But she got up there and got to seeing them good Christian men's. Got to wondering why I ain't like that. Soon she figured she got a heathen on her hands. She figured she couldn't live like that. The church was more important to her than I was. So she left, packed up one day and moved out. To this day, I ain't said another word to her. Come home and my house was empty. And I sat down and figured out I must have been a fool not to see she needed something I wasn't giving her. Else she wouldn't have went up to that church in the first place. So yeah, Toledo been a fool about a woman. That's part of making life.
On the next, #ActorsLife. Actor Mark John Jeffries sits down and gives his perspective and experience on the acting business. Working actor Samuel Smith gives advice on handling rejection. And a Limelight performance you won't forget. All right, let me take it back from the top. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another fabulous episode of #ActorsLife. I am your host, Shamiria, and on... no. Hold on. Don't make me take these earrings off.
This train is bound for Florida.